Hey, what's going on, everyone? We'll be working through our blogs still. Got some stuff still left to do on that one, but we're getting close to being done with that. We want to add the blog navigation, so we want a front and a back arrow. Front. I don't know. We'll figure it out. The front arrow will be on one side, the back arrow will be on the other side. We'll also want to use or continue our category work Monday and get those on our cards. And I'm thinking we'll do that over an image. Not too sure yet. We'll mess around with it. And then we're going to clean up components. I did some of this, I guess it must have been yesterday, or I just really wanted to figure out how to get a lot of my type errors to go away. So I spent a little bit of time working on this, and I figured it out. So the problem now, though, is that some of our images aren't showing up. But everything that we're working on to start with is all good. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to our blog. And here's one example. So maybe we start with this. So if we go to our content with media block, content with media. Oh, this is like the actual block. I need it in the app. Blocks. All right, content with media. And a few other things got messed up with this as well, so we'll figure all of that out here in a minute. But the main thing is that I realized I did not need to be creating my own types for all of this because Payload does it for me. So you can see here we've got media and button, so that's two things. But as we can see, if we put this over to the right, this over to the left, this image is broken. And so if I inspect it, we see, I don't actually know what we see. It looks like bunch of nothing. Oh, I think it's because the URL of the image is wrong. So if I look in my image object, here we can, I don't want to log it there. If we log our image here, this is to the right, yes. Text position foreground, text position is not foreground, left. So here's where I want to return that. So let's do log, and we'll log the image. So let's see what response we get. And so I see the file name. That would be correct. So it looks like I need to do image dot. Whoops. So I think then the problem is if I do this and then log, oops, not in the return. I want to log it here. We log the image. And so it comes in right. So now the problem is that it's not getting into the component here, and I'm not sure why. And then this is the actual next image component, so that's not what we're looking for. But then if we look at the script, let's see what we get here. All right, so it's saying it's undefined. And I'm wondering if that's because it's a depth thing. We'll take a look here in a second. So now, in our blog page, we've got our query blog here. So I don't have a select field, but I do have depth. So why don't we add depth to be 2? Okay, that's not it, 3. All right, so it does not appear to be a depth thing. Well, I'm in the wrong page. All right, so we actually need to go to our slug. Nope, our blog slug. So this is where we're actually working out of. All right, so we've got our query blog. Let's get rid of query category because we're not doing that anymore. So content.image.image. I'm going to log our content.image and see what our response looks like there. Oh, I need to, all right, so we have our content image. So then we come down here. So this is probably in our show blocks. So let's go to our serialized lexical. All right, we got to take a detour, I think. Or no, before we take a detour, because what we need to do actually is redo our rich text render. What I want to do is really focus because we need to get our blog navigation working. So first we're going to design it. So if we come to the end of all of our blocks here, but above related posts, we're going to then have a new, we can call it a section. So we'll have a new section. It's going to have 2 divs. One is going to be next post. One is going to be previous post. And then here's where we're going to figure out which way they need to go. So it should be, or I could do this differently and just do something like, let's go to our material icons. Left arrow. Okay, maybe just left. Yeah, so we'll do this one. Just copy that. Drop you in there. And then we'll do, I think we'll need another div in here. So we'll do another div, not dive, which will also have paragraph, which will be content title. And then we want to change our color. No, doesn't look like it even showed up. All right, so then we're going to have the other direction. So we'll do right. I don't remember what I did, but I'm going to change it to be arrow forward. So let's copy that inside of another div. Copy that there. And then we'll do content title. And then let's go back and do, whoops, back, arrow back. All right, so let's copy that and replace this SVG. So if I save that, we now have an arrow forward and an arrow back. And then we can do some styling. So this is all going to be a component. We know that. So let's go ahead and start making that component up. I'm going to get this screen a little bit wider. And let's go down to our components. And we'll do, I think I have nav, but I don't really want to do anything there. So we'll do, let's do a new, well, no, because it is going to be nav. So we'll do a new, but that has a different implication. So we're going to do new directory and do BlogNav. Then we're going to do a new TypeScript and then just do index. And if we need to move this, we can, but we'll just do export. We'll do const. BlogNav component is not what I'm looking for, but we can do post. And then we can, which I think actually I need to do it this way. Post, post. And then we can return all that stuff. So we then know that our post, we're going to have post dot, oh, okay, title. I was a little concerned there for a second. Post title, post title. All right, so here though, we don't actually need the type to be post because what we're actually grabbing is this needs to be a link, as does this one. Oops. No, yeah, that was right. Okay, so link here. And then this needs to stay as a div. And what we need is next previous. So we can just do well, the thing is that we still need this to be a post. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be right. So let's just figure this out real quick. So we'll have next title, or I guess previous title for back. This is so difficult to figure out. And then prev title. And then we need draft to be our blog slash prev slug, and then this needs to be next slug. And so then I guess we need next to be need a title string, and this is optional because that may not exist. And then so title slug string. Oh wait, no, this needs to be next. So we do next there. And then we do prev here. So this we can set to be next. And then this one, if it has a previous. Okay, and then previous title string slug string. And then up here, make that optional as well. So we come back over here to our blog page, and we can change all of this to be our blog nav, which will need a next and a prev. Now here's where things get interesting, because what I'm thinking is that we need to have a different blog for the next and for the previous. Oh, so I can actually just do it this way. So instead of all of that, which good, so we can do next and set this to be a post. And then previous can also be a post. And those both exist there, so now we can have a previous post and a next post. But we need to query those first. So let's get rid of this console log, and we will come below our related posts, and then we're going to do const next equals await query blog, and we need to do a query. So const will actually be next query, and that'll be if date is greater than, gets post, what do I have? Oh, it's blog dot date, and slug, well, so slug can't equal the next blog anyway. All right, so we can do const next equals, let's do get next. And that's going to equal await query blog. We'll do slug is next query, not limit next query, but limit is just 1. And then we can do the same thing for previous, and this is going to be less than blog date. And here we want to actually sort differently, I believe, so we're going to find out in just a second. Yeah, we'll have to handle that in a different way. So now instead of get next, we'll do get prev. And then we can do prev query, limit 1. And then let's see if this works. I haven't tried this before, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. Because if this does work, I'll then change them to be next and prev. Not next query, get next, and then over here get prev and see what happens. Test, this is my featured post, test copy. If I click this, then future blog. Yep, okay, blog test. And then we go all the way through, because I don't have a lot, test 2. So test seems to be the one that continually, so if I hit here future, test then becomes the next one. But then if I do this, it's still there. So there's something wrong with my going back. So we need to figure out how to change this from doing that. All right, so we've got our next, or get next query. So I think it's going to be something with sorting. And so what we're going to do is in our query, we're going to sort real quick just on minus date, just to see what happens. Test, okay, just in case that's actually what's supposed to be. So that's not it either. All right, so maybe it needs to be greater than equal, or I think this might be like a weird date thing. So let's go look at our backend. So let's log in, localhost. Now we're going to go to our posts, and here we have our test. So it's going to be greater than, it's always going to be greater than. So it's taking the first greater than. Okay, so that makes sense. We needed to not take the first greater than. We needed to take the next one in line. So let's think through how to do that. So first of all, let's do a sort, and we're just going to do a sort string here. Add in sort string. I believe I can set a default to be date like that, which fixes that. So then if I do test 2, all right, let's have this open to check the order. So the first one is my test 2, and then next. So test 2 is the title. Oh, let me sort by date. That was weird. Okay. So we have test 2, which comes before lorem ipsum dolor sit emit. And then we've got our, this is a test title. Perfect. So I just needed to change the sort for these, which is great. And then I need to change the sort string for our related posts because I would like it to be negative date. So it's sorting descending now. All right. And then that fixed that. And then everything else should be good. So let's give this some styles.